A person can read 100 books about money and still be broke. A person can know exactly how to lose weight and still eat like their future body does not matter. A person can understand productivity, use AI tools, watch lectures, collect frameworks, buy courses, highlight books, and still waste the best hours of the day on distraction. That is the uncomfortable difference between knowledge and the wisdom. Knowledge is knowing what to do. Wisdom is doing it when your ego, fear, desire, and environment are pulling you the other way. And for the ambitious people, this difference matters because this matters more than ever because information is now cheap, wisdom is not. We live in a strange time. You can ask AI to explain investing, health habits, philosophy, business, marketing, sleep, nutrition, leadership, and decision making in seconds. You can watch lectures from world class experts. You can listen to podcasts while walking. You can read book about summaries, newsletters, research papers, Twitter, Twitter threads, LinkedIn posts, and 10-step frameworks before breakfast, and yet people are not automatically wiser. Many are just more informed and more confused, more stimulated, more reactive, more convinced that the next piece of information will finally fix the life they have not yet practiced living. That is the trap. The modern problem is not access to knowledge, the modern problem is conversion. Can you convert knowledge into judgment? Can you convert judgment into action? Can you convert action into character? Can you convert character into a better life? That is wisdom. Not sounding smart, not having the best quote, not knowing the most theories. Wisdom is the ability to live well with what you know. And that is what we are going to break down in this video. The difference between knowledge and wisdom, why smart people still make terrible decisions, and how to turn information into wealth, health, freedom, and a life that actually feels like yours. Let's start with the first difference. Difference 1. Knowledge collects, wisdom filters. Knowledge collects, wisdom filters. That is the first difference. Knowledge says learn more. Wisdom says know what to ignore. And that is a massive shift because most ambitious people are addicted to collecting more books, more podcasts, more courses, more strategies, more tools, more frameworks, more tabs opened, more saved posts, more screenshots, more notes. That feels productive, but sometimes it's just mental clutter with better branding. Think about investing. A person can read market news every day, follow analysts, study charts, watch earnings calls, and still make poor decisions because they cannot filter the noise from signal. They know more facts, but they do not have better judgment. Or think about fitness. Someone knows protein matters, steps matter, sleep matters, strength training matters, calories matter, consistency matters, but they keep searching for the perfect routine. Because searching feels easier than repeating the boring one. That is knowledge without wisdom. Or content creation. A creator studies thumbnails, retention, hooks, storytelling, analytics platform strategy, and personal branding. But they avoid publishing because publishing exposes them. Learning is safe, shipping is not. That is another version of the same problem. Knowledge piles up, wisdom cuts through. The wise person is not the one who knows everything. The wise person knows what not to carry. That matters because the wise person knows what not to carry. Because every extra input has a cost. It costs your attention, costs mental energy. It can create confusion. It can delay action. It can make you feel behind because now you know 100 things you are not doing. So here is a simple framework. I call it the wisdom filter. before consuming more information, ask 5 questions. Is this relevant to my current season? This Does this solve a real problem? Will this change a decision or a behavior? Am I learning or avoiding action? What can I ignore? The fourth question is painful. Am I learning or avoiding action? Because sometimes the next video, the next book, the next course, or the next AI tool is not education, it is avoidance. Avoiding the workout, avoiding the budget, avoiding the sales call, avoiding the hard conversation, avoiding the first ugly draft, avoiding the fact that you already know what to do. Wisdom begins when you stop treating more information as the answer to every problem. Sometimes the answer is not more. Sometimes the answer is obedience to what you already know. Difference 2. Knowledge explains wisdom. Applies the second difference is this. Knowledge explains, wisdom applies. Knowledge says, I understand. Wisdom says, what will I do differently? This is where a lot of people get stuck. They understand everything. They understand why sleep matters, but still sleep at 1 a.m. They understand why saving matters, but still spend first and save what is left. They understand why deep work matters, but still check notifications every few minutes. They understand why health matters, but still treat their body like a rented scooter. Understanding is not transformation. Application is. An idea has not entered your life until it changes your calendar, your spending, your habits, or your behavior. That is the test. Not whether you like the idea, not whether you highlighted it, not whether you could explain it to someone else. Did it change anything? If not, it's still outside your life. It is just visiting your mind. Let's make this practical. Suppose you learn that sleep is important. Knowledge says sleep affects hormones, recovery, mood, and long-term health. That is true. Wisdom says, I will stop caffeine after 2 p.m. I will charge my phone outside the bedroom. I will set a sleep alarm, not just a wake-up alarm. I will stop pretending that revenge bedtime. Procrastination is self-care. That is wisdom. The idea became behavior. Suppose you learn that money should be invested. Knowledge says compounding is powerful. Wisdom says I will automate investing every day, every payday, before lifestyle inflation gets a vote. Again, behavior. Suppose you learn that AI can improve productivity. Knowledge says AI can summarize draft, analyze, and automate. Wisdom says every Friday I will use AI to review my week, identify repeated tasks, and turn one of them into a template, checklist, or workflow. That is the difference. So here is the 3A method. For every useful idea, ask awareness. What did I learn? Application. Where does this show up in my life? Adjustment. What will I change this week? Only 3 questions. But they turn learning into movement. For example, awareness. I learned that environment shapes behavior. Application. My phone beside my bed makes distraction easier. Adjustment. I will charge my phone outside the bedroom for 7 nights. That is how knowledge becomes wisdom. Small, specific, tested in real life, not dramatic, but real. Difference. Knowledge can feed ego. Wisdom builds character. The third difference is uncomfortable. Knowledge can feed ego. Wisdom builds character. There is a type of learning that makes a person harder to teach. They read a few books. They learn a few frameworks, memorize a few concepts, and suddenly every conversation becomes a performance. They are not listening. They are waiting to prove they already know. That is knowledge feeding ego. And that is dangerous, because intelligence can make people overconfident. A smart investor can build a complex model and still ignore the simple fact that they are overexposed to one risk. A smart executive can understand the strategy and still fail because they cannot listen to the people closest to the problem. A smart creator can study growth, tactics, and still avoid feedback because feedback threatens their identity. A smart health enthusiast can know nutrition science and still lack the humility to build a routine they can actually follow. Knowledge often says I am smart, wisdom says I might be wrong. That is completely different posture. One protects identity, the other protects truth, and if you want to make better decisions, you have to care more about truth than looking intelligent. This is where wisdom becomes character. It requires humility, patience, restraint, self awareness, the ability to say I do not know, the ability to say I was wrong, the ability to change your mind without feeling like you lost status. That is rare because the ego hates being updated. Ego wants to be defended. Wisdom wants to be corrected. Here is a simple humility check before major decisions. What would make me wrong? What am I emotionally attached to? Who has lived the consequences of this decision? What does the opposite view get right? Am I protecting truth or protecting my identity? The last question is powerful. Am I protecting truth or protecting my identity? Use it before investing. Use it before starting a business. Use it before making a career move. Use it before arguing with someone you love. Use it before making a big health decision. Because many mistakes are not caused by lack of transformation. They are caused by emotional attachment to the story we want to be true. We want to be we want the stock to be undervalued. We want the business idea to be brilliant. We want the relationship to be fine. We want the shortcut to work. We want the expensive purchase to be justified. We want the plan to be wise because it is ours. Knowledge can help you defend your plan. Wisdom helps you examine it. That is why knowledge can make you impressive, but wisdom makes you honest, and honesty is more useful. Difference 4. Knowledge seeks speed. Wisdom respects timing. The fourth difference is timing. Knowledge often seeks speed. Wisdom respects the timing. This is hard for ambitious people because ambition likes urgency. We want the result now, the business now, the body now, the portfolio growth now, the audience now, the freedom now. And because we know more, we think we should move faster. Sometimes that is true, but not always. Speed is only useful when you are moving in the right direction. Moving fast in the wrong direction just gets you lost with confidence. Think about investing. Knowledge may tell you that an asset is popular, a sector is hot, or a company has a strong story. Wisdom asks, what is the price? What is the risk? What is already expected? What happens if I'm wrong? Am I buying because of value or because I feel behind? That is timing. Think about business knowledge. Business knowledge may tell you the market is growing. Wisdom asks, do I understand the customer? Do I have distribution? Do I have the stamina to execute? Is this the right opportunity or just an attractive distraction? Think about fitness. Knowledge may tell you how to train hard. Wisdom asks, can my body recover? Can I sustain this? Am I building health or chasing punishment disguised as discipline? Think about career. Knowledge may tell you to quit and build your own thing. Wisdom asks, do I have a runway? Do I have a proof of demand? Do I have skills, savings, and support systems? Or am I using freedom as a romantic word for unprepared risks? Wisdom does not mean moving slowly forever. It means moving with context. Sometimes wisdom says act now. Sometimes wisdom says wait. Sometimes wisdom says prepare. Sometimes wisdom says this is not your game. And that is frustrating because we want universal rules. But life is not a spreadsheet. Context matters, season matters, energy matters, timing matters. Here is the timing test. Is this urgent or important? Am I acting from clarity or anxiety? What happens if I wait? What happens if I rush? What preparation would make this decision wiser? This test can save you from confusing pressure with opportunity because some doors are open, but not every open door is your door. Wisdom knows the difference. Difference number 5. Knowledge helps you win. Wisdom helps you not lose yourself. The fifth difference is the difference one knowledge can help you win. Wisdom helps you not lose yourself while winning. This is important because ambitious people are not vulnerable to beautiful traps. More money, less health, more status, less peace, more productivity, less presence, more business growth, less freedom, more followers, less self-respect, more achievement, but less meaning. From the outside, it looks like success, but from the inside, it feels like a contract you did not read. That is why wisdom asks a question knowledge often forgets. At what cost? Knowledge asks, can I get this? Wisdom asks, what will this require from me? This is a difference. Can I become wealthy? Maybe. But what path am I taking? Does it build freedom or destroy my health? Can I grow a business? Maybe. But will I build an asset or build a prison with my logo on it? Can I get promoted? Maybe. But will the extra income be worth the extra stress, politics, and time away from the life I say I want? Can I become more productive? Maybe. But am I becoming more effective or just more available to everyone else's politics? This is where wisdom protects your life from your ambition. Not by killing ambition, by purifying it. Like a filter. Wisdom does not say, do not want success. Wisdom says, choose success that does not secretly make you less free. Here is the cost of success. Cost of success audit. Before chasing a major goal, ask, what will this cost in time? What will this cost in health? What will this cost in relationships? What will this cost in freedom? Is the reward worth the hidden bill? The last phrase matters. The hidden bill. Every goal has a bill. Some are worth paying, some are not. The wise person checks the bill before celebrating the dream, because the wrong success can become expensive, not just financially, emotionally, physically, relationally, spiritually. You can win the wrong game and still feel defeated. That is why wisdom matters. Knowledge helps you play. Wisdom helps you choose the game. The knowledge to wisdom ladder. Now, let's put this into one simple framework. The knowledge to wisdom ladder. There are 5 levels. Level 1, information. This is when you hear something, a fact, a quote, a tip, a concept. Information says, I heard it. Level 2, knowledge. This is when you understand it. You can explain it. You can remember it. You can teach the concept. Knowledge says, I understand it. Level 3. This is when you see how it applies to you. Not people in general. You, your habits, your money, your work, your health, your relationship, your future. Insight says, this is about me. Level 4, judgment. This is when you can use the idea to make better decisions. You can compare trade-offs. You can see risk. You can filter noise. You can act with context. Judgment says, I can use this. Level 5, wisdom. This is when you leave the lesson when it is difficult, when you are tired, when you are tempted, when everyone else is panicking, when your ego wants to defend itself, when the market is failing, when the shortcut looks attractive, when the unhealthy option is easy, when the emotional reaction feels justified. Wisdom says, I live this. This is where the ladder. Information, I heard it. Knowledge, I understand it. Insight, this applies to me. Judgment, can I use it? Wisdom, I live it when it is difficult. That final part is the key. Wisdom is knowledge under pressure. It is easy to say you believe in long-term investing when the market's calm. Wisdom is saying staying rational when your portfolio is red. It is easy to say you value health when your schedule is open. Wisdom is walking, training, and sleeping properly when work gets busy. It is easy to say you value freedom. Wisdom is saying no to the attractive obligation that would quietly steal it. It is easy to say you are humble. Wisdom is changing. Wisdom is changing your mind when the evidence proves you wrong. Wisdom is not a quote. Wisdom is behavior under stress. How to build wisdom in modern life. So how do you actually build wisdom? Not knowledge? Wisdom. Here are 7 practices. First, keep a decision journal. Before a big decision, write down, am I deciding? What am I deciding? Why do I think this is right? What are the risks? What would make me wrong? How will I evaluate this later? This builds wisdom because it forces you to see your thinking clearly. Most people rewrite history in their favor. They say, I knew that would happen. No, they did not. A decision journal keeps you honest. Second, review mistakes without self-hatred. A mistake is expensive, but an unexamined mistake is even more expensive. Do not just feel bad. Extract the lesson. Ask, was this a knowledge problem? A judgment problem? An ego problem? A patience problem? An environment problem? A discipline problem? A wrong incentive that turns pain into tuition? Third, seek feedback from people with lived experience. Not everyone with opinions has earned the right to guide you. Find people who have lived the consequences. If you want marriage advice, be careful taking it from someone who only knows theory. If you want business advice, study people who have built and survived. If you want health advice, look for people who understand sustainability. That's just intensity. If you want wealth advice, listen to people who understand risk, not just returns. Wisdom respects scars. Fourth, study consequences, not just theories. Theories are clean. Consequences are messy. It is easy to say, I will work 16 hours a day to build success. But what does that do to your health? Patience, relationships, and judgment after 6 months. It is easy to say, I will take more risk. But what happens when the downside actually arrives? Study what happens after the decision. That is where wisdom lives. Fifth, practice restraint. This may be less popular one. Restraint sounds boring, but restraint is one of the highest forms of power. Not buying what you can afford, not saying what you could say, not reacting immediately, not chasing every opportunity, not taking every meeting, not eating everything available, not checking every notification, not turning every disagreement into a battle. A person without restraint becomes controlled by whatever it is in front of them. Wisdom creates space. 6. Use AI for reflection. It's just information. Most people use AI to get answers. That is useful. But a wiser use is to get better questions. You can ask, help me analyze this decision. From first principles, what are the incentives? And second order consequences here, what am I not considering? Give me the strongest argument against my current plan. Turn this mistake into a personal rule. Create a decision checklist from this experience. AI can help you think slower in a world that wants you to react faster. But be careful. AI can give you knowledge. It can help structure thinking. It can challenge blind spots, but it cannot become wise for you. You still have to choose. You still have to act. You still have to pay the cost. 7th, turn lessons into rules. This is how wisdom becomes practical. After a painful experience, do not just say, lesson learned. Write the rule. For example, Never invest in something I cannot explain simply. Never sacrifice sleep for fake productivity 2 nights in a row. Never buy a status item without waiting 72 hours. Never make major decision when angry, tired, or desperate. Never take advice from someone who does not live with consequences. Never confuse urgency with importance. Never start a business without testing demand. These rules become personal wisdom, not because someone said them, because life taught them to you. That kind of wisdom sticks. The wisdom review. Here is a simple weekly review you can use. Ask yourself, what did I learn this week? Where did I fail to apply what I already know? What decision exposed my ego? What desire tried to control me? What did I avoid because it was uncountable? What rule should I create from this week? What should I ignore next week? This is not complicated, but done repeatedly. It changes you because wisdom is rarely built one dramatic moment. It is built through review, correction, humility, repetition. It is built when you stop letting life hit you without extracting the lesson. It is built when you become a better observer of your own patterns. That is self mastery, not controlling everything, controlling yourself more often than your impulses control you. Final lesson: the world is overflowing with knowledge. That is not the scarce resource anymore. The scarce resource is wisdom, the ability to filter noise, apply what matters, stay humble, respect timing, choose the right game, pay attention to hidden costs, act well under pressure, and build a life that does not just look successful but actually feels aligned, healthy, free, and meaningful. So do not worship knowledge. Use it, test it, apply it, challenge it, let it change you. Because the goal is not to know more than anyone else. The goal is to live better than your past self. And that is the difference. Knowledge is what you know when life is easy. Wisdom is who you become when life tests you. If you like that, if you learned something from it, if you gained some value, I invite you to join my free email newsletter. I create ideas, knowledge, wisdoms, tips from top mentor stamp books that I've read that will help us to achieve freedom in health and wealth, make better decisions, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so that we can still see each other in the next video. And see you in my newsletter. Again, visit kevinumali.com/free and see you there.